In a move that sent ripples through the defense establishment, Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth has ordered the Pentagon to slash $50 billion from its budget for fiscal year 2026. This directive, issued on February 19, 2025, represents an 8% reduction from the proposed $850 billion budget. Hegseth, known for his hawkish stance and alignment with President Trump's agenda, framed the cuts as essential for reallocating resources towards the administration's national security priorities. The directive comes amidst growing concerns about the national debt, which now stands at a staggering $36 trillion. Hegseth has repeatedly emphasized the need for fiscal responsibility and streamlining government spending. However, critics argue that these cuts could undermine military readiness and hamper the Pentagon's ability to address evolving global threats. The Pentagon has been tasked with identifying specific areas for cuts, with a memo marked "Controlled Unclassified Information" circulated among senior officials and commanders. The memo stresses the importance of prioritizing wartime tempo and reducing spending on low-impact items. However, it remains unclear how these broad directives will translate into concrete budgetary decisions. The Pentagon cuts are primarily aimed at funding key priorities outlined by the Trump administration. Chief among these priorities is bolstering border security, including the continued construction of a wall along the US-Mexico border. Additionally, the administration seeks to allocate significant funds towards the development of the Iron Dome for America, a comprehensive missile defense system. Another key priority is the elimination of diversity, equity, and inclusion, or DEI, programs within the military. Hegseth and other administration officials have criticized these programs as wasteful and detrimental to military cohesion. They argue that the focus should be on merit and combat effectiveness rather than social engineering. To achieve these objectives, the Pentagon has been directed to target excessive bureaucracy and programs deemed extraneous to core military functions. This includes initiatives related to climate change, such as the development of alternative fuels and weatherproofing of military bases. The administration views these initiatives as costly distractions from the military's primary mission of warfighting. The directive has sparked immediate concern about potential impacts on the Pentagon's workforce. Of particular concern is the fate of approximately 4,000 probationary employees who could face termination under the new budget constraints. These employees fall under the purview of the US DOGE Service, a government agency now overseen by tech entrepreneur Elon Musk. Active duty, National Guard, and reserve members are expected to remain unaffected by the cuts. However, the potential loss of civilian personnel, particularly in administrative and support roles, could strain the military's operational capacity. The long-term consequences of these cuts on morale and recruitment efforts remain to be seen. Reactions to the directive have been mixed. Defense contractor stocks, including those of major players like Palantir and Lockheed Martin, experienced a dip following the announcement. This reflects investor uncertainty about the potential impact on future contracts and defense spending priorities. Politically, the cuts have drawn criticism from Democrats, who accuse the administration of recklessness and short-sightedness. Beyond the immediate budgetary implications, Hegseth's directive signals a potential shift in US military strategy. The emphasis on the Indo-Pacific and Northern commands, coupled with the call for increased defense spending from NATO allies, suggests a renewed focus on countering China and Russia. This is further underscored by the exemption of nuclear weapons modernization from the cuts. The directive's silence on support for the European, Central, and Africa commands raises questions about the administration's commitment to these regions. While the US is unlikely to withdraw entirely, the reduced emphasis on these theaters could embolden adversaries and complicate efforts to address ongoing conflicts and instability. The Pentagon's $50 billion budget cut is a significant development with far-reaching implications. While the administration maintains that the cuts are essential for ensuring US military dominance and advancing key priorities, critics argue that they could undermine readiness and harm national security interests in the long run. As the Pentagon grapples with implementing these cuts, the debate over their necessity and potential consequences is likely to intensify.